righty. Well, we are going to go ahead and jump into what we need to do. So wanted to make sure, first of all, did everybody get your worksheet?
Mhm.
It should be attached to your email if you didn't. And let me just, oh, my whole screen just decided to shut down. So I want to pull this sheet up. And before I go into this little webinar masterclass that I'm going to show you as an example, I do want to go through what we're talking about today so that you will be ready. And as always, that worksheet should be fillable for you. I mean, if you're a writer like me, I just like to write things down. You're absolutely welcome to do that, but you can type things in your document if you want. So we're doing a webinar masterclass example, and I wanted to walk through this for you just so that you could get more ideas and really understand. Some of you have not done this before, and so this will be a nice introduction to how you structure a webinar or masterclass that is designed to be lead generation for you. So I want you to be paying attention to the content because I do have some good content. You are the first group that's seeing this, so I'm previewing this, but I want you to know that this is going to take us all the way through. It's going to be a part of a sales funnel. So you'll see me talking about, your free gift that you get. And at the end, I say, I want you to sign up. But you'll get to see how that whole process works as I do this demo for you. 5 important things to note. Pay attention to the order and structure in which I bring material to you. Take a look at the visuals. All right. So webinars they can become dry and lecture-y. And so, the colors really have an impact on how people are going to perceive everything that you do. Pay attention to the messaging, some of the juicy nuggets that you're going to get and the way that they're articulated, and then the call to action and how I do that call to action. So the way that I broke up your notes for you, it's really a twofold. You're looking at this for, hey, what can I take on to improve my own business and some of the elements that we're talking about, but also there's just like a second column here to just capture some notes on these key areas to pay attention about the webinar and masterclass itself. Okay. And then down here, I just have I do have a proprietary method in the way that I do webinars. Marla, because you're in Ready, Set, Succeed, you're going to get the full length. But this is something to just start thinking through. How would you, if you were to do a masterclass or a webinar, these are the 5 things that you need to really high level, you need to work through. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. Let me stop that share. And as I'm getting this set up, does anyone have any initial thoughts or questions in terms of doing a webinar or doing a masterclass?
Is there a difference in a webinar versus a masterclass?
There's not really a difference if you are using this for lead generation and to connect with potential clients.
Okay.
Really, the use of the words is psychological. So when people, think about, let's think about this. How do you feel when I say, hey, I'm going to do a webinar for you?
Okay.
Versus, hey, I'm going to do a master class for you.
I like the second one better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, to me, a masterclass is almost like a live kind of thing, whereas a webinar can be like a 24/7, running that kind of thing. So a masterclass to me is, I guess I think of school or a presentation, a workshop more than anything.
Yeah.
And that, that to me is like here and now versus a webinar. You can go back and look at it anytime you want.
Yeah. Other thoughts? When you hear the two, webinar versus masterclass, what happens in your mind?
Well, I think like a webinar is short and kind of like informational, and a masterclass to me sounds like it's a deep dive.
Hmm.
We would get into more, I don't know, just a lot more with the masterclass.
Yeah,
I would have more invested in it too than in a webinar.
yeah,
Well, a webinar I would consider it a short, something short, while a masterclass I'd have to invest maybe a little more time.
right. Yeah, so you think about how that impacts you psychologically when you introduce something. Now, the thing about it is when you do a master class, they're both the same. They are basically the same things, but in the master class, you're teaching them some kind of strategy, but you're not educating and giving them everything. So that is really important. And I want you to notice that as I walk through this master class. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, Lori.
Hi,
Hey,
sorry,
Rachel.
I'm
Hey,
late.
Catherine. Hey, I see you ladies. We're getting ready to do a demonstration of a webinar slash masterclass that is part of a lead generation
Awesome.
funnel for
Sorry
you.
I'm late.
I'm sorry, Rachel, I didn't hear you.
I said I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, no worries. No worries. All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Can everybody see the slide deck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to today's masterclass, the top 5 secret tweaks to make your business purposeful and profitable in as little as 5 weeks. Now, I know that sounds like a big stretch, but do you know that your business could literally change overnight? So today I'm going to give you some secrets that I use in my own 2 businesses that have caused me to be purposeful and profitable at the same time. So I have a question for you, and I want you to just think about this in your mind. What would it be like to have your business be purposeful and profitable? Not just purposeful, you're doing something that you love and you feel like it's impacting people, but it is also causing you to be prosperous. It's causing you to have paid work, and it's showing up in your bank account, and you are able to make a true living at this at the level that you want to. So I want you to hold on to that question as we walk through today's masterclass. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angie Nuttle, and I am an executive business coach for corporate and entrepreneurial women. So I'm an award-winning author and a speaker. I'll show you those books here in just a moment, just so that you know that I have street creds. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. So from the time I was a kiddo, I was doing the Girl Scout cookies. I was selling whatever the Girl Scouts had me selling. I was doing a paper route. I was always looking for ways to just go and be entrepreneurial and have a lot of freedom. And I wanted to get paid too. So I remember just having a paper route, and I was so excited about making $30 a week, when I was 11 years old. That was really exciting. That meant that I could ride my bike down to the convenience store and get some of those Dolly Madison donuts and just stuff my face with them until I rode my bike all the way home. Yeah, so I remember those days, and I'm sure that you have some stories too. But people also call me a branding and marketing guru. So I spend a lot of time helping business women to figure out what their brand is, how that translates onto everything that the public sees about their business. And I help them to think strategically about how to be visible in the marketplace and stand out from everybody else. So as I mentioned, I do come with street creds. I do have some books out on Amazon. My latest one is Compose Your Soul, How to Turn Your Daily Chaos into Calm Control. One of the things that I find in dealing with business women is that they struggle with a confident mindset. And so I wrote a book about it. I wrote just an honest book about what happens to us as women when we get into business and we're trying to run that business and we've got inner critics talking to us and we're struggling with boundaries and all of those things. I've been around the block in terms of TV, radio syndicates, writing articles for organizations, for folks like Business Insider, Business News, the Network Journal, things of that nature. So I definitely have talked about my expertise in helping business women. And so now, at this point in my career, I had a 20-year corporate career that was very successful. And I ultimately became the owner of 2 thriving businesses. So I've learned the secrets to building purposeful and profitable businesses. So everything that I'm talking to you about today, these are things that I've gone through myself. I've learned the hard way. And so I want to make it easier for you. And I want you to have financial security. And I want you to have that life where you're having the freedom and fulfillment that you want. So I have a heart for women. And ultimately, that's foundational to every woman that I work with. So I teach high achieving entrepreneurial women to successfully start and grow their businesses. I provide done for you services so that you can really focus on your craft. And I find a lot of women, they start out, for example, coaches. They start out coaching because they love connecting with people and helping them. But then they find out, oh, there are all these other things that I have to do, like build a website, do social media, and all of these other things. And they get really hung up on that. So I help them to work through that so they can focus on what they love doing. I just had to take a moment to highlight a group of ladies that I'm very proud of. You may recognize some of these ladies, some of you who are on the call. This is our VIP team, our Visions in Progress. This is actually my latest venture. So the VIP Center, we opened it up a couple of years ago, and we help business women to start and grow their businesses, but we also give them opportunities to network, to build connections, to learn the skills that they need to in order to be successful in the world. Let's see, I think there's Jen Baker on there. All right, so you may be saying, okay, what am I getting today? Well, today, here's what I'm going to equip you to do and what you're going to have today. I'm going to give you the opportunity to take charge of your business future and do that with confidence so that you can have that freedom and fulfillment that you want. And this is I should have underlined this, but get paid for what you're worth. And who wants to do that? If you want to get paid for what you're worth, raise your hand. Everybody. Yeah. I don't see anybody not raising their hands. Even the dogs are raising their hands. So I'm equipping you today to overcome those limiting thoughts and those security killers that keep you from growing your business quickly. And I'm here to tell you that your business can grow quickly if you focus on the right things. There are 5 fatal mistakes that I'm going to make you aware of today that undermine your efforts and keep you from being profitable in your journey. So we're going to look at those. And then you're going to get to discover the 5 key pillars that potential clients judge you on before they take you seriously. And they also determine whether or not you're going to get paid. So this is a big one that I'm saving. You've got some good juicy nuggets coming in just a few minutes. And then I'm going to give you, this says learn the 5 key secret tweaks you need to build this purposeful and profitable business. There are several, but I'm going to show you a few today. And all of these can rapidly change your bank account balance to plus instead of minus. So I'm ready to get going. And I want to talk about the importance of now. I have a room here in the VIP Center, and there's this little sign that someone gave me that says, it has like the words now on it. And so this is what gave me the idea of this and to realize how important now is. I'm going to tell you that most of what you've learned about building a business and creating profitability is incorrect. And so I want to share 3 key factors, profitability killers that get in the way. Number 1, I should wait. I should wait mindset. How many of us, when we were starting our business, maybe we struggled with it, like, oh, should I do this? I don't know. Maybe I should wait. And I've heard that a lot out of women here lately, especially with the pandemic. They're like, oh, I was going to start a business, but I'm not going to do it now because there's a pandemic. That will kill it for you. Profitability killer number 2, everyone else is doing this. So if you start trying to copy what everybody else is doing, you're automatically creating a disadvantage for yourself, because what everybody else is doing, it's not authentic to you, and people smell that from a mile away. The third profitability killer is I can do it all myself mindset. This is a big one. And I was one of these people. This was difficult for me. I was always used to doing everything myself, and I felt like an island, and I still fight it to this day, but I have learned the value of not doing it myself. And instead, giving those things that I really don't want to do and I'm not good at, giving those to someone else, but me focusing on what I do best. So when you get knocked down by these profitability killers, this is the result. You're undervalued and underpaid. You've wasted time and money. And there's a regret and a loss of heart in what you're doing. So as I'm showing you these, I want you to just think in your mind, which one of these resonates with me the most? Which one am I experienced or if I have experienced most recently? So now is the right time, and now is the time to do it right. And guess what? It's okay to get paid. It's okay to get paid. So in our time today, at the end of the masterclass, I'm going to give you a gift, and I can't wait to give it to you. It's going to be a gift that will alter the course of your entrepreneurial journey. So stay tuned, and I'll tell you more about it here shortly. But for now, I want to look at where you are right now. So I want you to look at these and say, just identify which one of these is actually you. You're afraid of what's happening in the world and what it's doing to your business. So you're sitting in the sea of indecision, frozen. You're sitting on the fence, wondering what you should do. You're trying to be a one-woman show and you're in plate spinning mode. Can you just envision yourself just spinning all of those plates right now? Just spinning, spinning, spinning. You may have even tried to find someone to help, but it just didn't pay off. Maybe you didn't find the right person. Maybe it just wasn't a good connection. Or in some cases, I talk to a lot of business women, they get connected with somebody who makes a lot of promises, but they don't deliver on those promises. Mm-hmm. How about this? You don't know how to move forward and make it work. You have the desire, you have the passion, but you just really don't know what to do to make the change. So you've been running in circles. So here's what you probably want. You want 3 things: a healthy and profitable business that is inspirational and successful. You want to feel confident, purposeful, and fulfilled. And you want to spend a lot less time on the try this business band-aids, is what I call them, and more time doing intentional work that leads to the business that you actually want. All right. I hear this often. I don't want to do what? Now you're welcome to post your thought in the chat here. I hear this on, I don't want to do what? So I'm going to tell you the most common thing I hear is, I don't want to do social media. I don't want to do social media. I hear people say, I don't want to build a website. I have no idea how to do that. I don't want to do copy and messaging. I don't even know how to do that. I don't know. So there's a lot of different things. So we've got create landing pages. I don't want to do accounting. Well, I'm going to tell you that even I don't do accounting. I have an accountant, and I think it's a smart move for any businesswoman to get an accountant. Internet marketing. Yeah, I don't want to do the marketing piece of this. So there are a lot of things that we hear that women don't want to do when they are starting or trying to grow their business. And Jennifer Baker, you broke down, you got an accountant. Well, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. All righty. Let's see here. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Once you implement, oh, sorry, ladies. I forgot my real problem slide. And that is that you haven't had the right solution until now. We can't skip that, because if we don't look at the problem, then we can't have a solution. So once you implement what you learned today, you are going to be more in control, especially over your outcomes and profitability. You're going to feel more confident and decisive. You're going to think and act more strategically about what you shouldn't be doing in your business. You're going to be able to start being positioned to ask for the prices that you deserve for everything that you're offering, and doing that with confidence. You're going to learn some tricks and tweaks to create a brand that stands out from the lookalike so that it feels like the real you. And here's a good one. This is a good one. You're going to start to find out the ways to feel holistically healthy so you can be at your best as you prosper in business. That's actually one of my favorites. So here's what you need to know about the results that I get with people. I've helped a lot of women with their business, and especially with their confidence. So those that work with me and follow my strategies, they get results and they get focused on their mission. So that's what I love about this. You get really focused and intentional about what you're doing. I do work with serious business owners who you realize that it's time to build that purposeful and profitable business and to just stop wasting time. Because I meet a lot of women who they're just spinning their wheels. So question, is this you? Let's keep going, because I want to get to the juicy stuff. Well, in order to get to the juicy stuff, we've got to recognize where we might be making some boo-boos, and these mistakes truly undermine our businesses. So I hope you have a pen and paper, and I want you to jot these down if at all possible, because I want you to go back later and assess yourself on these and say, am I doing any of these things? First of all, allowing limiting beliefs to dictate your decisions. And when I say limiting beliefs, I'm talking about, well, I'm not smart enough to do that, or, I really don't have enough time to do that. Well, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's just where we choose to focus our energy and how much we really value whatever decision is in front of us. The second thing, operating in the I can do it all myself and figure it all out mindset. We really weren't made to be islands. And so many times we are our own worst enemies as businesswomen by just saying, yes, I can take it all on, when really our whole desire is to simplify our lives and to focus on the things that we absolutely love. Third thing, having a branding and marketing strategy that fits in or is good enough or just looks like everybody else. Number 4, putting your website and social media in the hands of people who don't understand your business or you as a human, which could also include yourself. How many of us have ever said, who am I and what in the heck am I doing? Sometimes we need to just connect with another person to get clear on who we are and what direction we're going. And then the 5th, this is a big one, undervaluing your services and products and representing that in the way that you show up. so many women are just looking at what they have to offer and just really minimizing that. And I want to break that pattern, because there are people who are waiting for you to show up and inspire and encourage them. And they are willing to pay for that. They're willing to pay you. And there is, you have value. So it's time to value yourself at the right level. Okay, well, as a result of these mistakes, you're ultimately spending more time and money, and you're spinning more plates. Result also, no clients, no income, because you don't know what to do to be purposeful and profitable. Well, we want to change that around. And I want to share with you what we're going to do, or what you need to know in order to get your business in right standing and get positioned. So I want to introduce to you the fun, juicy stuff. And it's 5 key pillars that reveal what to tweak for prosperous results. So these are the 5 areas that I have found and that I have based all of my work on when someone is starting their business, or even when they're growing it. You cannot function without these 5 pillars and them being spruced up significantly. So we've got these 5 here: mind, body, faith, pricing and sales, social media, website, and copy and messaging. So these 5 are key to your success. So I'm going to go through each one of these. So don't worry if you couldn't see it. You're going to get to see them here in just a second. We're going to start with website design, because I love designing websites. I think it's the whole picture. It's like a representation of who you are as a businesswoman. So website design and attraction effectiveness is key to your success. Did you know that 90% of website traffic drops off the first page? Here's what's even more shocking. It happens within an average of 3 seconds. So that is a short window of time. If in the first 3 seconds, your website does not attract that person, they're going to jump off. And we want to make sure that whatever we have there is, it's catching their attention, it is attractive, and it's meeting some key design features. So here's the problem. You may have a website that's underserving you, and it's not even being used properly. And this can equal an empty bank account. So you may not even have a website. I'm going to tell you that you absolutely need one as a foundational pillar. You need to have it out there, because it speaks to your credibility to say, yes, I really am a business. So here's the shift that you need to make in this. And I'm going to just call out the fact that when I talk to a lot of women, they have friends who did their website, or they may have connected with an agency that has a technical background, but they really don't understand you. Here's the deal. You need a website that generates leads for you. It's not just about credibility. That website needs to have calls to action to it. It needs to give something to your audience. And so it's not just there to look pretty. That being said, we know that people jump off within 3 seconds. So the way that my philosophy is, and my methodology involves something that I call the 3 V's: visual, vocal, and verbal outputs. Now you're saying, well, can websites talk? Absolutely. Websites can talk. The first thing that we take in is our visual. So our brains process visually first, and then what happens is our brain listens for the tone of that website, and then it goes to the words. So the website's got to be designed knowing that it's visually appealing, that it's nicely structured and ordered, and it's responsive with automations that sell for you. This is really important. This is really key. The other thing that I want to share with you on this is, that I don't have on here, is that the website has to be SEO smart. So you see a lot of beautiful websites out there, but what happens is search engines can't pick them up because it doesn't know how to read what's on the website. Here lately, I've seen a trend where you have this very fancy writing, just like I have this fancy writing here that in this word website design. So here's the truth. That can only be read by a search engine as a picture, because it's not identified as it's not identified as a discoverable font. So you see all of these websites with these fancy words, and that they're not being picked up in SEO in Google in some of the top search results because they don't read pictures, it reads words. So the website has to be designed and the fonts have to be designed in a way that it can be picked up. All right, so I'm going to give you an example of a website that I did recently for Dr. Lynn Pittman. She actually didn't have a website, which is pretty surprising since she is a doctor. And she was just using her phone. She was just putting out things on, so trying to put things out on social media, but she really didn't have a place where everybody could come. So she needed a functional website. So I'm going to show this to you. And so notice that so one of the things that I do with people is I sit down and I really figure out what their color scheme is and what's going to match them best based on what they're doing. So for Dr. Lynn, she, after talking with her and her personality and the types of audiences that she's drawing, we landed on this color scheme. And we're not messing around here. We've got the words that are going to pick up that are SEO smart. So we've got healthcare, doctor, medical and natural health clinic for adults and children. So this is a site that I built for her, making sure that I have some keywords in here. But this is also designed to be extremely functional. So there's plenty of buttons in here where we can book calls. To automate this, instead of her, just answering her phone all the time, people can come to the website, book here. She didn't have any of this. We also have a quick responder here. So it's like, hey, do you have a question? Submit it here. And it goes right to her email box, which is really snazzy for her. So another important feature I just wanted to show you about her website that we made work for her. She has a lot of new patients that come in, and one of the challenges was that she needed some general information about them first. So we created her medical questionnaire, made sure that we didn't ask any questions that were HIPAA violations. For those of you in the medical field, have to be very careful about that. But we created this form for her. And so this website was made very responsive for her. So it hits all of the elements that I talked about. So that's an example of what I'm talking about, website design and attraction effectiveness. It's not just about it being beautiful, but it's where it can be picked up in search engines and it is working for you while you sleep. All right. Second key pillar, social media. This is probably the least favorite of all of my clients, and every woman that I know, they don't want to do this. They don't want to mess with this. And Catherine Clift is an example of that. Well, and I'm going to use her as an example in this particular pillar. So here's a fun little fact for you. 80% of people use social media for personal and business use. 80% of people. 100% of business owners who do not use it will not be visible where most people hang out. And that's a fact. There's no adding or subtracting from that. That's just a fact. So social media is here to stay, and it is a fantastic tool to be using to build your business. But the problem is the improper understanding of the strategy of social media and the use of it. And so, and plus the fact that most of us don't want to actually mess with it. We don't want to deal with it. We feel like it's cumbersome. Yeah. So here's the shift that has to be made. We've got to reframe the use of social media and consistently build trust and relationship and warm up people to buy. The truth is that social media is a big warming pot for you. So if you're trying to bring in cold leads, I'm going to tell you that cold leads, 99% of the time, they're not going to buy on the first time that they meet you. They're not even if you are a product-based entrepreneur, they're going to have to see you a few times in order to move forward. And that's just the norm. So with social media and design, here's what's got to be tweaked. First of all, in just talking about the designs itself, we've got to have consistent design and colors for credibility and trust. So people really look at, are you consistent across all of your social media platforms? Does it all look alike? All right. And then consistent posting for building relationships and legitimate presence. So here we are in our group. We just recently went through the 311 social media strategy. That's an important strategy. I would encourage you to go back and look at that. And it doesn't have to be as hard as you want it to be. If you're choosing to do this yourself, it doesn't have to be that hard. I'm going to give you an example here with Catherine Cliff. So notice Catherine, she has some very unique coloring here. And this was part of our strategy because she's calling forth to holistic entrepreneurs. And she really didn't want to have people who there was a certain target audience that she wanted to avoid. And so this was designed to reach out to those creatives. But notice what we did here for her. Not only did we make her visuals consistent, no matter what they were looking like, we also went in to her profiles and we turned her profiles from a resume kind of profile to a profile that says, I'm a coach. And we use that opportunity to create some messaging around the types of people that she works with and calls to action. Calls to action need to be on everything, especially in your social media. So with this, we were able to create a funnel of sorts where we lead people to a free Facebook community, which Catherine she's very excited about this. This actually totally changed her mindset about doing social media. She hated it before. She wanted me to do it all for her. And so I automated some things for her. And now she has people joining her private Facebook group. She's got a small video out. She's getting ready to have a webinar out, which is going to have the same kind of coloring. And she's putting out all the stops to generate leads through this social media. So I just want you to be encouraged by that. This is just one of many examples. And this pillar it's critical in order for you to be successful. Okay. Third pillar, copy and message. Now, some of us, we love doing this. We like writing. And then some of us, we just don't. You either have a gift in this or you don't. But I want to differentiate between content and copy because they are two distinctly different things. And what I mean is if you're writing a blog, that type of writing is a lot different than writing copy and messaging that is speaking directly to your audience and to their pain points and getting them to buy something from you or, take on a service that you have. So your online dialogue reveals how well it's going for you. So if you put out a social media post, for example, and you're writing something in there and you're trying to get them to sign up for something and there's crickets, then you know that something is not working. Because if your copy and messaging is effective, people will respond to it. They might start off by responding with a heart or a like, which hearts and likes they're awesome, but they don't really get you any further. It's almost like a check off that, okay, this person has seen this one time. We want them to see it more and more. So the like is just a confirmation that somebody saw that. Okay, so here's our problem. This is the #1 killer of a lead generation funnel, and it's ineffective copy and messaging. I have found this over and over and over. I work in Facebook ads. I do a lot of testing. Audiences change from week to week, and so testing what's working with them is really important. And even the best copy and messaging person knows that you have to tweak those things. So you got the ineffective copy and messaging in every platform that you use. This is websites, your videos, your Facebook ads, anywhere, LinkedIn, all of your social media posts. So the shift is this. You just got to get to the point. And I'm talking about the pain point. Also, right now, there is a trend that true authenticity really is working better than super polished. So I want to encourage you, don't be perfect. Don't try to be perfect, just be yourself. Because people want solutions before they want cleverness. So if you're thinking of going and advertising, I've said this before, but there's this guy this attorney down in Alabama, and he says, turn your wreck into a check. Yeah, so that might be clever and funny, but it's not going to get sales. Okay, so here's what's got to be tweaked. First of all, it's got to be authentic, and you feel it. You feel it when it's right. You know when it's right. You got to get to the pain points. And you've got to get to the, here's what you get over what is cute and catchy. So I'm going to give you an example, and it's an interesting example because it's got some elements of ineffective and effective. So this first one is, hey, are you struggling to get clients? Join us and we'll help you. Check us out. Now, when you look at this copy, what's wrong with this copy? Anyone have a thought?
It's a little redundant,
Redundant?
repetitive.
It's
Okay.
vague.
Vague, yes. Yeah, there's it's not really, it doesn't have a strong call to action. It does talk a little bit to the pain points, like, hey, are you struggling to get clients? I mean, that could go over, but I will tell you on Facebook, if you do a Facebook ad, they're going to reject that ad because they don't like that negative talk. And so they're not going to let it go through.
Mhm.
Get the top 5 secret tweaks and be profitable as quick as 5 weeks. So how is this different than the first one?
First of all, it's very specific. I mean,
Yeah,
get the 5
very specific.
very consistent.
Yeah.
And it has a timeline, 5 weeks. I mean, that's very definitive.
Yeah. Well, it gets your attention right away. And then typically what I would do is I'd put some pain points under this. This is for you if you're struggling to work copy and message and your hands are tired from writing so much and scribbling through your paper. I mean, whatever that's going to be. But it gets your attention right away, and it's punchy, but it's not, it's not creepy.
Okay.
And so if you ever work in Facebook ads, one of the ways that you can know that you have good copying message is if in your Facebook ads, Facebook will give you a quality rating. They'll give you a quality rating on how well they think you wrote that and how it aligns with what you have on your website. They'll give you an engagement rating that shows how well people are liking that, and then conversion rate. So that's telling us, okay, people like what you said, Facebook likes what you said, and they want more, so they're clicking your links. So that's, if you really want to know how you're doing on your copy, That's one way, is through Facebook ads. Okay, fourth pillar, pricing and sales. So this tends to be a sore point with everybody. Well, here's what I've found. Business owners who have their pricing and packages organized bring more revenue. So if you know what your packages are and you're confident in those, you're going to do a lot better. Most people think that sales comes first and then service. Well, that's not true. You actually have to approach this with a service mindset, and the sale will come. So here's the problem. Many times we don't know how to price our services. We're afraid to ask for what we're worth, and we have wrong expectations about sales. And then we struggle with it. Hey, is it okay to make money? So some of us are, we're faith-based, and we're like, is it okay for us to make money? Should I do this? And that is a mindset that I just bust that down and say, hey, God has pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. I could think of like 1,000 different scriptures where, he says, you got to make money and I want you to use it for my glory. So that's a myth that I dispel in my work with women. So the shift is you got to sell the outcome instead of the bargain to avoid GBF. And GBF is go broke fast.
Good.
So when we think about the outcome that they're going to get, this has to do with how you position it. Hey, when we work together, you are going to stop spinning your wheels on trying to get your lead generation funnels off the ground. You're going to start getting those clients that you've been looking for because you're going to shift your focus. So you see, I'm selling an outcome versus you can get this package for $79.95, right? That's the traditional sales, right? Marla, we'll see you later. All right. So here's what's got to be tweaked. Your mindset around sales. It's the mindset. That is the very first thing that we've got to conquer. And then nailing down your signature widget and downsell. So I said widget because some of you are service-based, some of you are product-based, but it's your signature packages. If you're a coach, your signature offerings, maybe you're offering courses, maybe you're selling a certain product like Mary Kay, for example, or whatever. This is even for multi-level marketers. You gotta nail down your signature widget and downsell. So I'm really proud to have Beth Barrich as our example on this. She just got her first sale of a coaching package, which I'm really proud of her. And basically for her, this whole process, we made this happen very quickly for her. She was going to have a conversation one evening and we just nailed down, okay, get your signature offer and what's your downsell going to be. We worked through it. We did a similar process in our implementation call this past Monday. So if you missed it, we didn't record it, but you missed a good one. We created a conversation structure for her that really helped her to feel more confident and didn't put her on the spot so much, but she served first and then she sold. And she sold her first package. So this process really does work when you apply it. So I'm really, really proud of her. So she did sell the downsell, but it was still a pretty significant amount. So I can't say enough about it. She was ecstatic. All right, I'm going to tell you the final pillar, and that is mind, body, and faith. So having the type of business that you want is going to require you to have sharp mental clarity, energy, and a spiritual outlet. Here's the problem. For most of us, our struggle is in confidence and in faith. And it really is tied to how we see ourselves and the way that we treat our bodies. So the shift that we've got to make is that what we think is easy to do right now is actually creating a hardship for us down the road. When we say, no, I'm not going to go work out, or I'm going to reach for a dozen donuts instead of taking care of my body, you're in trouble. And the long term is that creates a lot of hardship for you. So you got to start optimizing your health and your faith right now, because you're going to need it. And there are a lot of things that have to be tweaked in this. I find that I spend a lot of time with women in this area too. Esther is too. She's co-coach in Food Fighters Fit and Focus group, but we got to shut down inner critics and tighten boundaries. Boundaries are big because we women will run over them. We've got to manage what we put in our body, because food is for fuel. And we also have to carve out that reflection time. Key. We got to have that time to just download and process what's going on. So I've got Eunicia Del Santos as an example here. She was a coaching client of mine. She every once in a while she shows back up and gets me to help her, but we started her from ground zero. Everything. She got everything. She got the website, social media. She was publishing a book. She was starting her coaching practice. So we got our brand defined. We got her a new website. But her big problem is that she was leaving out something really important to her. She's a woman of faith. She was leaving out her spiritual routine. We got her back on track. As a matter of fact, last year she came and stayed at the VIP Center for 30 days.
Oh,
She
wow.
stayed here in the Airbnb for 30 days and got herself back in order. And I worked with her. And now she is back on top, knocking it out of the park. So she's a great example of that. And she did finish her book and started booking some engagements. So I'm really proud of her. So all of these are really hard lessons that have become a part of the success blueprint for my coaching clients. And, I'm asking you a question here. Have you really given yourself a chance to be successful? It's a big question to ponder. Have you really given yourself that chance? When you walk out of this masterclass virtually today, I want you to think about this. I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 in each of these pillars. As a matter of fact, I do have a scorecard that you can take, and I'm going to include it in my gift that I'm about to give you in just a moment. But your head may be swimming right now and saying, how can I implement all of this? And I would absolutely love to help you. So if you don't know how to stand out or market, you're trying to learn it all, but you're struggling to master it, and you've been fumbling through the do-it-yourself, you're doing everything you can to save money and pinch pennies, you're running out of ideas and energy, then I'd love to help you. And you can put these mistakes, you can put all of these behind you, and you can really get the secret tweaks that you need in each of these pillars. So wouldn't it be awesome for somebody to just come in and do all of this for you? Your business, your branding, marketing strategy, your web design, all of the things that I've talked about. Well, it is definitely possible. And you are making a choice right now to have the confidence and decisiveness you need. You can have the support of a business expert, so you can spend more time with your family and doing what you love instead of working 80 to 90 hours a week. Getting done for you kickstart services that just speed up exponentially your time to getting those clients booked, getting the website that really represents you, and getting that pricing and package structure that charges what you're worth. So here's how you can get it. I've got some time set aside for you today, and it is a gift to you. So I'm offering you a call, and this is a breakthrough call. I would send you a pre-session assessment on those 5 pillars for you to truly assess where you are. And then when we get on our call, we'll talk about how to apply what I've talked about today, and we'll look specifically at your situation in your 5 pillars. If you have a website, you want me to look at it, I'll be happy to do that. If you've got copy and messaging ideas, you're struggling with social media, we'll talk about all of that. And we'll talk about the tweaks that you need to get you on the path to being profitable in business. So, and if you see the value of working together, we can talk about what that looks like. And if we decide that we're not going to work together, that's fine too. The call is still complimentary because I do want to help you. And I just want you to know that this isn't for everybody, but it is for the women who want to grow 6-7 figure business. All right. Okay. So ladies, I'm going to stop here, and just because this is all really just reinforcing the sales. So I want to just come off of here and get your thoughts and questions about, first of all, you can ask questions about the content and the tweaks itself, or the structure of the webinar.
I thought it was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the flow,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and I think you kept a pattern going. There was a definite cadence to it, which made it cohesive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
Normally,
important.
yeah, go ahead.
I think it's important because if not, people can't follow it
Yeah.
if you don't remember to kind of keep it flowing.
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought
Yeah.
go ahead, Catherine. Hey.
Yeah, it was, what I like, at least myself personally, is the way you have the steps. You know, you have, here are 5, blah, 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 and then you go through and expand on each one.
Mhm.
That I can be analytical, so that, I like, and I'm a numbers person, so I like that.
Mhm. So one thing that I want to say about this is you can steal shamelessly from this. You have my permission, okay? This is a structure that you can use to create your own webinar or masterclass. And the one thing that I would tell you is, after about 6 to 8 minutes, our brains just can't take the information. And if you're doing this webinar, if you're doing it live, you can see it in the body language of your folks. And that requires you to, even though you don't want them to spend a lot of time talking because you've got a time limit, it's asking them those rhetorical questions, having them put it in chat and saying, think about where you are. Which one of these speak to you most, so that you get their brain going in a different direction and you still maintain their attention.
Yeah.
How
I have
long-
a really hard, sorry, I have a really hard time sitting still. Hope you
Yeah.
can see me going. And it has nothing to do with the material. It's
Right.
just me.
Yeah.
How long was it, Angie?
So I recorded this webinar previously, and it's 42 minutes
Okay.
in length. Yeah. We got off to a late start today, so
No, that's okay. It was hard for me to catch. I thought it was shorter. So that says on how well it went. I was thinking it was like 30 minutes.
yeah.
Even.
Well, I sped it up a little bit for today so you could see the bulk of it.
Okay.
So Angie, I know we talked about this at the beginning, but so a master class, would it be over an hour usually? Or is there a maximum? Because to our point, how do you get people, master class, the people are going to be on the call, I'm
Right.
assuming. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, so if you look at like the information that I have here, it is structured as like a master class,
Yeah.
because you're giving them some strategy and you're getting into a little bit of detail, but notice I'm not giving away all of,
Right.
here's how you build the
Yeah.
website, or
Right.
here's how you here's how you actually create blah blah blah. So master class, you can call it a master class, and because you're teaching them some strategy. Now, this doesn't have to just go into a call. You could do this and lead them into a bigger class. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
And, and that would be, you could call that, I'm doing a 3-day workshop
Right.
to expand on these 5 pillars. And
Mhm.
you could sell them into that from that. So like I might say, I'm going to do a 3-day masterclass online, And I'm going to we're going to do a deeper dive on all of these pillars. You're going to get a free assessment of your website, or, one of these pillars that you want me to look at. And I'm going to do some how-tos in this 3-day masterclass. And then you charge them a price of, it's $595.97 or whatever you're going to charge for your masterclass, which then when you get them, or you charge for your workshop, excuse me. And then when you get them in the workshop and you've spent some time and they say, okay, well, she's legit, she's the real deal, then they're more willing to say, I just want somebody to do this for me.
Right.
Or,
Right.
Or they'll sign up to a coaching package or something.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. And just one more comment. What I really appreciate about it is, and I'm kind of going back to replaying what I've done, and I'm like, is you really hit home on the pain points, but in a subtle way. I mean, it wasn't like you have the,
You've screwed up.
yeah, you messed up, but there was enough variety of pain points that if you didn't have, you likely had at least one,
Yeah.
if not two of those pain points. And it also made me feel better, like, okay, I'm not total fail because I don't have all the pain points either. So it was very psychologically really, really good from that standpoint, because that's what you want. You want that emotion so that they're engaged, because if there's no emotion, then there's no engagement. So I thought it was really, really good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. I like that pain point concept. And I like what you said. You can identify with some of them, but not all of them. So then you kind of feel good. You're like, oh,
Well,
I've
got
Right.
that one
got,
right.
but yet I need help, kind of.
Right.
But that
Right.
is so important, because I think that's one thing we do incorrectly. Like my new job, that got me thinking of pain points on how we can invite people in. And that's not a language anybody at the table knows yet. That if I don't have those pain points, then how are we going to get them in?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. It's just something we don't feel comfortable talking about.
Well, people are, and
Fun.
especially right now with the pandemic and everything, they are in pain.
Yeah.
They're looking for answers. People, they need to be profitable. They need to be making money and putting money in the bank right now. And so there's a lot of suffering, and it's a lot of needless suffering. But that's exactly how
One
you
last
speak to them.
question.
Yep.
Hey, Ange. Okay, so how does this fit in to the 3-1-1 strategy, or where do you go over that? Because that's where I'm struggling, is that it takes a lot of effort to put this together and to put it out there, and you've got 1 or 2 people attend, right? So it seems like a lot for not getting much return on the work you've put into it. So at what point in time does that fit into your marketing strategy to do something like this?
Yeah. So 3-1-1 strategy, I mean, in terms of the pillars, I look at that across all of them, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, social media strategy is putting things out there, but I think for you, Lori, with what you're doing, LinkedIn is your big audience there.
Right.
And it takes a long time to get them warmed up.
Yeah.
That's just
that's
true.
what I'm thinking. It's that I've got to go back to the 3-1-1 being really consistent before I can really go out with anything like this, because I'm not going to have uptake on it. So,
well, I'll tell you what's most important. I mean, you could create a webinar right now, Lori,
right.
and you could invite people from LinkedIn. You could put it on Eventbrite. I mean, you could put it on there for free, some of the free event, and you could draw people that way. Right. But what I do in Ready, Set, Succeed for these ladies is I create a whole funnel. And we start with organic reach. So we start putting posts out on Facebook and sharing them, with our friends, and start connecting with people. But like Catherine Clift, she's getting some little trickle into her Facebook community. But what's going to help her is a slow drip Facebook ad that's like $5 a day. and it's going to start bringing people into her group to get to know her. So
Okay.
I think for you, in your situation, I'd be doing organic reach on LinkedIn, connecting with as many people that would fit your ideal client. And that means really doing some work on, well, who is my ideal client?
Yeah.
Where are they from? What are they doing? Who's the decision maker there? But I think that you also have a lot of opportunity on Facebook, because I mentioned that, 80% of people who are in business, they are on Facebook. And they sit at home at night and look at their phones and their computers. They're trying to. And so if you were to create a funnel with the webinar, you've got some social media you've already gotten some going. Even if you just get a couple of posts a week, Lori, on a business page, and you start sharing that.
Yeah.
And you could do a Facebook ad drip for $5 a day just to get people to notice your business page.
Right.
There are ways to get people there.
Okay.
So-
Thanks.
Yeah. Spinning your wheels means just trying to reach one at a time.
This was awesome, Angie.
Thanks, Christina.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Really helpful.
It was.
Very good. All right, ladies. Well, I'm gonna let you go. We're like 15 minutes over.
I know.
I'll see
Tea
some of you
time.
in a 40-day circle. Lori Thompson and Rachel and Esther Favor. You
Oh,
heard.
nice.
Ladies, still
Bye.
favored. Okay.
Bye.
Happy Valentine's
Bye,
Day.
everyone.
Bye, guys. I'll see you on
Happy
the
Valentine's Day, Catherine. Lots of
Happy
love.
Valentine's Day.
Bye.